Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Alfee Bin Nurazam. Okay, today I'm going to present to you a question from April 2011. Okay, as you can see, the question have 11 activities, and the question asks, the first one is draw the appropriate PERT diagram, calculate the earliest start and the latest start time for each event, calculate the project completion time, identify the critical activities, calculate the free float and the independent float for activity D, and compute the project completion time if activity I is delayed by 4 weeks. Okay, we're going to answer that in the next slide. As you can see on the table, we have 11 activities. The first three activities are activity A, B, and C have no predecessor. So we're going to start with the first event, which is the first node. We're going to draw like that, and with three activities, which is activity A with 3 weeks, activity B with 9 weeks, and activity C for 7 weeks. For activity D, the predecessor is activity A, so we're going to draw the second event up there, event 2 with activity D for 12 weeks. Next event is activity E. These have two predecessor, which is activity A and B, and as we can see, there is no way we can draw a line from activity A to directly to activity E. So we're going to draw a dummy. We have the third event first, and then here is the dummy, and then the event 3 come with activity E for 10 weeks. Next is activity F came from activity E. Okay, this one is really straightforward. So we're going to draw the fourth event with activity F for 11 weeks. Next, we have activity G. The predecessor is activity D. So we have the fifth event with activity G for 10 weeks. Moving on, we have activity H with predecessor activity F. So we have the sixth event for with activity H for 7 weeks. Next, we have activity I with predecessor of G and H. Okay, that's the reason why we have interconnected line of G and H for the seventh event with activity I for 14 weeks. Next, for activity J, the predecessor is C, so we're going back down there with the eighth event with activity J for 15 weeks. As we can see on the table, the last one is activity K that came from activity I and J, so that's the reason why the arrow meet again for the ninth event with activity K for 9 weeks. Next is the last event, event 10. Okay, as we can see, there's a total of 10 event, and here is the EET and LET for the PERT diagram. Okay, as you can see from the PERT diagram, I have written down all the EET and LET. As you can see, the darker shade of the table, the top one, indicates the EET, while the lighter shades is the LET. Okay, how to calculate? The first event must start with 0. As you can see from event 1, we have 0 weeks. And moving on to the second event, the EET is, as you can see, is 3, because 0 plus activity A for 3 weeks equals to 3. So that's how we calculate all the EET. And then moving on to the fifth event, as you can see, event 2 with 3 weeks plus from activity D with 12 weeks equals to 15. So next is 15 plus 10 equals to 15. So we're not going to write here 15 because they event 7 have two activity from activity G and H. So we have to decide which is the biggest, which is the longest, sorry, which is the longest for event 7. So we're going to proceed from activity B. So activity B with 9 weeks. So the event for the third event have EET of 9 weeks, and then plus 10 equals to 19, and then 19 plus 11 equals to 30. So as we can see here, uh, activity H have 7 weeks, so 30 plus 7 equals to 37. Compared to the activity G have 15 plus 10 equals to 15, so activity H have the longest weeks of 37 weeks, so we're going to write down here 37, and then 37 plus 14 equals to 51. Are you sure about that? No, I'm not sure about that. Okay, as you can see, there's a two connection from activity I and activity J. So let's move down. For activity C, we have 7 weeks. The 8th event, the EET for event 8 is 7. So next, 7 plus 15 equals to 22. So 22 compared with 51, 51 have the longest one. So we're going to write down 51 here, up here. Next, 51 plus 9 equals to 60. So as you can see, the total time need to complete for this project is 60 weeks. And you can see that the LET also have to start for from 60 weeks. I have to follow from the EET. Okay, for next one, just now we need to add all the EET above to have the last total of weeks for last event. So as you can see, the last event is event 10 with 60 weeks. Instead of plus all the EET, for LET we need to minus or deduct the current event with previous activities. For example, the event for event 10 have 60 weeks minus activity K with 9 weeks equals to 51. So all the LET we need to minus the event with the activities. Okay, I'm going to move forward. Uh, for EET, we need to choose the longest one if the event have two different activities. But for LET, we need to choose the shortest one. So as you can see, for event 1 we have 3 connection from both from all event 2, event 3 and event 8. So we need to choose the shortest one. So we're going to deduct the event with the activities. So for activity 2 we have 15 weeks minus 3 weeks equals to 12 weeks. So next is activity 3 with 9 weeks minus activity B with 9 weeks equals to 0. And then event 8 with 36 weeks minus activity C with 7 weeks equals to 29. As we can see, the activity B has the shortest amount, which which is 0. So the reason why we write down 0 for the final LET. Okay, moving on to the next question is the calculate the project completion time. So the total completion time is this one, the last one, 60 weeks. So moving on to the next one, identify the critical activities. As we know, critical activity must be completed according to schedule. Any delay to the critical activities will delay the completion time. So we need to choose the longest one. So as we can see on the break diagram, the critical activity start from activity B, activity E, activity F, activity H, activity I, and lastly activity K. Okay, moving on to the next question, we need to find the free float for activity D. As you can see, this is the activity D. So for the formula, the head of EET need to minus with the tail of EET and minus the duration of the activity. So the formula is written down below. So free float for activity D is 15 minus 3 minus 12 equals to 0 weeks. Next question is to find the independent float. For independent float, for activity D, the formula is the head of EET need to minus with the tail of LET and minus the duration. So independent float for activity D equals to 15 minus 12 equals to 12 weeks, means that the project will delay by 12 weeks. For next question, we need to find the total float for activity I. So for this one, the formula is the head of the LET needs to minus with the tail of EET and minus the duration. So as you can see, this is the formula. Project completion time activity I if delayed by 4 weeks. So total float of activity I equals to 51 minus 37 minus 18 equals to 4 weeks. So if activity I takes 18 weeks instead of 14 weeks, the project will be delayed by 4 weeks, equivalent to 1 month. Okay, that's all from me.
As we can see from this slide, for past year September 2011, the question is Hussein Lempoyan Construction Sdn has been selected for 1B project. As an operation director of Hussein Lempoyan Construction Sdn Tan Sri Ramli Puteh has agreed to start this project on September 2011. All the major activity for this project and the estimate duration and time have been identified as follow. So I will explain question A and B. As we can see from slide, question A, bird diagram must always start with node number 1. Node number 1 will start with activity no predecessor. As we can see from table, activity A and B has no predecessor. So node number 1 will start with activity A duration time 6 and activity B with duration time 4. Let's proceed with next activity, which is activity C. The predecessor for C comes from activity B. To start new activity, we must always end with previous activity with the next node. So we must start activity C and must end first activity B. For activity D, it comes from activity A and B. As we can see, activity D is come with two predecessors. So they have a dummy between node number 2 and number 3. The next activity is E, which is come from C, node 2. Activity F with duration time 5 come from D. Activity G come from C and F. There is come with 2 activity and have dummy between node number 4 and 6. Next activity H come from E and E end with node number 8. For activity I is come from H. As we can see, activity J and K come from same node, which is node number 9. 2 activity that come from node cannot end with the same node. Therefore, activity J and K must end separately. Next, activity L come from K and activity M is come from J and K. So there is dummy between node number 10 and 11. The last activity is activity N, which is come from activity L and M. So there is 3 dummy for this diagram. So we move to question EET and LET. Question B. So as we can see, for determine EET, we need to plus, and node number 1 must start with 0, and we must follow node to 1 by 1. For node number 2, how we can get 4? EET number 1 is 0. We plus to activity duration time 4, activity B, we can get 4. To node number 2, 3 come from node number 1, which is EET is 0, and we plus with activity A duration time 6, and we get 6. But as we can see, there is have dummy for node number 2, so we plus EET 0 is 4, and plus with dummy is 0, we can get 4. So there is 2 options, which is C and 4. We must take the higher one, which is 6. For node number 3, node number 4 is 4 plus 2 get 6. Node number 5, 6 plus 3 get 9. Node number 6, there is have 2. First, 9 plus 5 get 14, and 6 plus 0 get 6 for dummy, and we must choose 40 because the higher number. Okay, so next, node number 7, 6 plus 2 get 8. Node number 8, 8 plus 3 gets 11. For node number 9, we have 2 options, which is 14 plus activity G duration time 4 get 18, and 11 plus duration time 2 get 13. So we choose 18, the highest one. For node number 11, 18 plus 3 get 21. Node number 12 have 2 options, which is 21 plus activity M duration time 4 get 25, and node 10 22 plus duration time activity L 5 get 27. So we choose 27, the highest one. And the last node is 13. 27 plus 3 get 30. For LET, we need to minus, and we must start from the last node, which is node number 13 is 30. Node number 12, 30 minus 3, we get 27. For 11, 27 minus activity M is 4, we get 23. Node number 10, 27 minus activity L duration time 5, we get 22. Node number 9 have 2 options, which is node 10 with 22 minus 4, we get 18, and node 11, 23 minus 3 get 20. So we choose the lowest one, because for LET we need to get the lowest number for LET. For node 8, 18 minus activity F duration time 2, we get 18. For node number 7, 16 minus 3 get 13. Node 6, 18 minus activity G is 4. we get 14. And note number 5, 14 minus activity F, duration time 5, get 9. Note 4, 13 minus activity E is to get 11. Note number 5, 3 minus 3 get 6. 9 minus 3 get 6. Note number 2, 11 minus 2 get 9. And the last one, note number 1 have two options, which is note number 2, 9 minus activity C is 4, get 5. And note 3, 6 minus activity A is 6, get 0. And we choose the lowest one is 0. So I move to my friend to explain next question.
So next we move to question 3, which is determine the critical path and critical activity for the network. Okay, first we need to find the critical path. Critical path is, to find the critical path, we need to find most activity are similar to previous object, which is activity times known. On this question, the answer for critical path is 1, 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, 12, and 13. For the critical activity is activity on the path of which, if delayed, will delay the completion time. For the answer for these critical activities is A, D, F, G, K, L, N. And then we move to completion time, which is completion time is the time that we take on this path, which is 30 months. Okay, next we're gonna move to the last question, which is we need to find the total float, free float, and independent float. For the total float means time can be delayed without affecting the project completion times. Okay, the formula for time float is LET minus 2 EET minus 2 duration. First of all, we need to come out the path on the diagram, and then as you can see on the screen, and then LET for the activity J is 23 and EET is 18, and minus to the duration, which is 3, and then we're gonna get the answer is 2 months. And then we move to the free float. Free float is time available if an activity start time is delayed without making it critical. So to settle down the free float, we need to minus 21 minus 18 minus with 3. So we're gonna get the answer 0 month. And last, independent float. Independent float is time available if an activity start time is delayed at most and finish at earliest. So as we can see, the formula for independent float is EET minus 2 LET minus 2 duration. So EET 21 minus 2 18 minus 2 3, and we're gonna get the answer 0 months.